Good morning, Free Enterprise. Welcome to an medium to early morning weekday stream. I am Mechalink, and here with me in the booth is FryZ123.
Good morning, Mecha. Did you put the coffee? Did you start brewing the pot of coffee?
Oh, I wish. I've been off caffeine for years, and it's a rough thing.
All right. Well, again, good morning, everybody, and welcome. Looks like our runners are getting ready to get set up. And looks like Antidale's gone with breakfast names. For his
All right.
characters this morning.
All right.
I guess he's going with the breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, minus points for the lack of waffle, but the twins being hash browns. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that works for me too. Also, minus points for no pancakes either.
Yeah, where are the pancakes, French toast, waffle? Where's the yeah? This is a very yeah. Oh well. So we've got the Kane start, which is I think it's the start. Yeah, it's the start we had last night, and the other play-in race last night was Yang into Kane. So we've got a heavy Kane play-in matches. Play-in matches, that is different. The background's different. Everything's different. You want to explain that a little before we get started?
All right. So the play-in round. These are all runners who finished the Swiss tournament part of the tournament at 3-2. Unfortunately, there isn't enough space in the bracket stage for everybody who is 3-2. So we have some matchups this week to find out who's going to win and enter the bracket stage. And they're off, it looks like. So let's see who's joining Kane for breakfast this morning.
Yeah, Inventor Will is right. I want maple syrup on it. All right, it's not the Kane Yang start for once. Kainazu's got the hook for us. All right.
All right, so looks like we may be seeing now. The thing is, here, are they going to do that quick character check down in Eblon first, or start moving on and doing some of the easier check?
Yeah, we've got some pretty solid early power with Sid, but no exit means that a dive into the hook character is a walk in and a walk out unless that hook character happens to be Tella. So that's kind of rough. I guess the objectives might guide us here.
All I saw was an Odin. So okay, let's see here. Oh, defeat Octomom. Okay, gotta find. So this is a boss hunt.
Yeah, we've got some simple overworld objectives, Fabul and Mist Cave. We've got a boss hunt and a key item hunt. 2 bosses and a key item, really, and then the defending Fabul and defeating the boss in Mist Cave are going to be gimmies. Standard divergence, one person to Baron, the other person to down.
Yep, and looks like Edward's enjoying his time at the inn, so we may not be coming back here for a while.
Yeah, elements at that spot, it folds even easier than normal. A little less experience than you usually get. Rosa's mom is blocking for Antidale. Somebody's paid her off.
And Antidale getting that hovercraft early, knowing that you're going to need it because you do have to trade away the rat tail, and we already have the hook. So we'll see where he goes from.
And you see some aggressive chest skipping. Antidale skipped a chest that was like 4 steps out of the way. d2kemps skipped a chest that was 1 step out of the way. In the grass. So we're seeing some pretty aggressive chest skipping, and Antidale picks up their.
So it looks like we're going to be at the Eblon check really early. In fact, you can also check the shops here. So the shops may actually have some good items.
Yes, even in the shop standard mode, the gated shops generally have some better items. I'm hoping for the sirens so I can be extra salty about last night. But this shop generally has some of the goods.
Right. Also looks like Antidale's checking the chest here. Probably going to find the trapped one, save scum out, and then just check everything else.
That's my plan. Coffins and silk webs, those are great tools to have. The problem with doing shops right now is they don't have any money, right? So.
And they are skipping chests, so, I mean, well, there's some crystal gauntlets. Somebody just found some money.
And the Odin summon tends not to be used, so even if Riddy is the character up here, it's likely that that's getting sold. But then they stop checking chests, right? Like, where's the money for those coffins and silk webs going to come from, Antidale?
Right. I'm wondering if they're feeling that this is going to be kind of a jet seed. I mean, with the two easy overworld objectives. Oh, and there's a Dark Knight Cecil just chilling in the cave, and some form of Milan is at the ruby spot.
Yeah, Milan, if it's Milan by himself, hits hard, hits fast. That's a pain, but not unbeatable. Milan and friends, a bit more of a cakewalk. But Dark Knight Cecil is not gonna perform quite yet.
No.
Let's see, we've got a fire sword, for Kane, and a headband. Nothing stunning out of the first checks as d2kemps goes up Hobbs and Antidale walks out their Dark Knight Cecil.
Yep. Yeah, walking out there, Cecil. Hobbs. I mean, with that fire sword, Hobbs should be somewhat easier. Just get that character and then start building that.
Yeah. I mean, I often enjoy the early Hobbs check if I've got some gear to make this fight playable, and my guess is that the restreamer's doing a little syncing to make sure that the two are at the same time. Having done some restreaming before, my experience. But
and the weapon shop in Eblon doesn't look too shabby. I mean, I did see some ninja swords in case you find an edge.
Yeah, ninja swords are his best viable weapon. They come at a steep price, but it's a price you can be willing to pay to make edge capable. No, our restreamer was informing us that the d2kemps stream has just decided to stop, so I was trying to act like Moonblaze Wolf was doing the super techie play, and nope, just streaming difficulties.
Yep, and looks like Antidale's heading up Hobbs as well. Gonna get that character there and find out who's the guard.
Back rowing people without the back row glitch on Sid. So hoping that Jump's gonna carry the day. Against the Calbrana dogs? I don't think so. Do we have an attack item?
Well, hopefully one half of the hash browns will help out here. I mean, you do have the Dark Wave attack on Dark Knight Cecil that'll do the AoE damage to help probably take down those dolls, but probably not fast enough.
Yeah, this is a spot where wiping out the cows, wiping out the cows before the Brainas, or the Brainas before the cows, right, like with Dark Wave, could be kind of...
It looks like d2kemps, he's gotten through the doll fight without from the big dolls, so got his hash and is now checking the chests on Hobbs.
At least the one. Hash here is got Ice 2 out of that fight. We didn't get the full experience out of that slot, but Ice 2 is enough to turn Palom on and make Palom incredibly useful. The Ice 2 speed, the rank 2 spells are a little powerful for this early stage of the game, so I expect to see Antlion shortly. Yep.
Now the question is here, is will they check any of the chests in the Antlion game?
I guess we'll find out. Like I said, they've been skipping surprisingly aggressively already. Maybe they've been getting a little practice in the bracket flags.
Maybe, but my opinion, you got to get through this match first.
Yeah, oh, an exit. Nice pickup. And look at this! Skipping chests and then like, oh no, but we're going to go out of the way for the left side chest and get an Hourglass 2 for our...
Well, to be fair, that was worth it with the Hourglass too.
yeah. Gamble, get rewarded. And we did see an exit as well, which was nice with this party. It'll make at least one check a little easier. d2kemps already having made the long walk for Eblon Cave, but maybe they want to exit out of here.
Well, no, I don't think d2kemps has gotten the gone down to Eblon yet, so they still have their Dark Knight Cecil, and wow, that Crystal Helm, that'll get some money for them to go maybe do some shopping in Eblon.
Yep, Yeah, no, my mistake. I got them mixed up in my mind. You're right. There's Antidale's the one that went down. So, despite that long walk, Antidale and the d2kemps are in the same place, right? Like, so for whatever reason, right? Like d2kemps fight being a little slower on the Calbrana dolls, and now they're essentially caught up with each other. So yeah, that long walk not really costing. The most out of the way chests in the cave paying, of course, with the cursed ring and cat claw.
Oh, we have a Leviathan here, just hanging out in the Antlion Cave. So he's gonna should give these guys a nice big wave.
Yeah, and
Oh, gets like misses Palom there.
yeah, this spot doesn't have a ton of any sort of offense. And unfortunately for it, I feel like Palom should be using some sort of spell and killing it at this point. But
Yeah, you should.
oh, look, 666, the number of the dead Leviathan, and there we get the fire 2 that we still don't have light 2.
Oh, and a darkness crystal. So there's another character check if you're willing to go just a little bit out of your way for it right now.
And we technically have road access, darkness crystal and hook. It's the world is your oyster, as it were. And yeah, d2kemps takes advantage of that exit that they looted and leaves the Antlion Cave the fast. And goes to Fabul. They're big on getting experience on Palom.
I guess so, and at least getting this objective out of the way.
It's true. Generally, you do want to complete your objectives because you know that they're going to do them as well, and so you don't gain much by skipping them. And looks like Antidale's going to do a different objective.
Right, probably hoping for the 2-for-1 here, and hoping it's one of the 2 bosses he actually has to beat. Oh, at least gets Pale Dim out of the way. Just something slightly in a nice spot that shouldn't be too much trouble for them.
No, the white dragon here will fall fairly easily. About as easily as a water hag's going to fall over on d2kemps' side. Apparently, the water hag broke away from the Fabul Gauntlet and decided to want to solo the place. Not going to work out very well for it.
No, I don't think it's going to work out well at all.
All right, our eggs is leveled up, a wasted level, and objective 3 is complete for Antidale. d2kemps about to get objective 2. So we see the real reason that they did Fabul here, in that Palom gaining those levels. Palom's a character who turns on with 1 level, but really shines when they get access to an early quake. Elven Bow, Middle Sword.
And a heroine robe from the King of Fabul there.
That's not what we're looking for. This is a little bit of a sausage fest, if you will, this morning on d2kemps' side. So if we want that, and we know that the character waiting for us in the inn is Edward, so it's not anyone to use that heroine robe.
All right, and so that means Edward is our dupe of the day. Both hanging out and having breakfast in the Baron Inn and sleeping it off in Kaipo.
Oh, you did see him in Kaipo?
Oh, I thought you mentioned that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was referring to him in Baron Inn. And Antidale going for, not surprisingly, we saw Antidale dive hook for a character. Now they're going to go jump and go to the moon for a character. Makes sense. If you're going to do one, like, you should probably do the other. Also gives them, again, another good shop check, and like you mentioned, against Eblon. So, yeah, a lot of information and a lot of, early power access. Earthhammer on Sid.
Yeah, probably hoping for either a Fu or an Edge to come out of that moon. Or a healer.
Yeah, a healer would be nice. because this isn't still these Swiss flags, we have access to things like illusions and silk veil, star veils early, but a white mage still makes it a lot easier. We're gonna buy a poison axe. Wow.
I mean, it's expensive, don't get me wrong, but you can buy one.
It's true.
All right, first check's going to be the Hummingway shop.
We bought a poison axe to replace an earth hammer? Man, that is a lot of money.
Oh, then some hourglass 2s on the moon.
Yep. So hourglass 2, we mentioned that earlier. Cast the stop spell with a ridiculous duration on the entire enemy party. Incredibly useful when the enemies do not have the boss bit. It's funny, in like Final Fantasy V, the boss bit was called like heavy status. It's too heavy to use to stop.
Right. All right, let's see who's waiting here on the moon. Oh, yep, that paid off.
Oh, big payoff, and Antidale knows where to find those ninja swords. And so instead of trying to buy a poison axe like d2kemps, Antidale has found cereal and might be giving it two scoops of ninja.
Right, now at this point I'm wondering, is he going to check the Bahamut Cave just to see which boss is there, to see if he even needs to come back?
I think that's pretty reasonable. And they're setting down, which means the answer is no.
All right, d2kemps, he's going through it, walked over to that chest and decided not to open it.
I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe this is, again, right, like, that feels like maybe there's somebody's been practicing bracket flags a little, because like, this is the kind of place where you would be checking under bracket flags for sure. And
with the T-Pro setting.
Mm-hmm. And d2kemps finds DKC. Antidale is
going back to the Mist Village. Unless there's something here in the shops that I didn't see. And I'm thinking there is.
They want to buy the middles. All right.
Okay, so not the ninja swords just yet. They're probably just a little too pricey.
That's fair. Yeah, middle swords are better than short swords. Apparently in the Japanese version, it was like the classic ninja sword things like kunai, kotetsu, stuff like that. But in America, it's just short, middle, and long.
Right, and looks like setting the back row glitch there on Sausage.
All right, a back row glitch is a fantastic thing for Sausage. If you give a character a weapon that works from the back row, once that bit is set forever, it just never clears. So, right, like every melee character except Yang can be glitched that way. Although it's harder for some characters than others.
All right, and here's the breakfast party in the inn. I think elements aren't going to be long for this world, though.
No. I mean, I do feel like Rubicante and Barbarisha are definitely the two people who would be brunching at this time of day. Moon Boss.
Well, apparently Wyvern wanted to join the party as well.
Yeah, and at a slow spot, this is where you want to see Wyvern, because slow spot's going to make the Star Veils come out quick. Wyvern still has a negative.
Yeah, he's only got the 1-star veil up on Serial there, because that's really all he needs, since there's no experience for this fight. He doesn't need to keep everybody alive.
Unfortunately, the magic power in this spot is such that wasn't enough to get the kill, but again, this spot is so slow, but by the time the Reflect and Nuke that Wyvern uses as its main attack strategy becomes a thing, this fight will probably.
Right, and d2kemps climbing ordeals now, finding the first boss there, which is going to be a Dark Elf.
Dark Elf, not too bad.
And, well, that's a tail. That is unfortunately not the tail they are looking for, though, but that'll lead to a good item once they do head over there.
Yep, they do have the hook. Right, and no toast today. Alright.
Yeah, looks like he's going for a lighter carb breakfast this morning by getting rid of that toast.
And it looks like Antidale's gonna finish their looting of Baron Town. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them head over to Mount Ordeals soon.
Right, and d2kemps through the first boss on Ordeals, and we'll see who's next.
Can't stop, won't stop, and it's the evil wall from behind. How did we walk through this wall to get here?
That's an excellent question. Yeah, hey, I'm just gonna go around this wall, and like, oh wait, that's the evil wall. Maybe he thought it was like the wall of good hugs and friendship as he was walking by and was just wrong.
Yeah, on this wooden bridge. Yeah, it's fine. There's a wall on this bridge. It's fine. Ignore.
All right, and Antidale, he's gonna find the water hag trying to take over Fabul Castle, and I don't think that's gonna go too well for the water hag.
Yeah, no, I feel like Water Hag should have picked somewhere to fight that isn't gonna, be full of monks who can punch it down.
That is true, he was pale. Maybe the wall had a sign on the back that says, not evil. Alright, and d2kemps meeting the evil wall, getting some experience there. And we're gonna find out what that key item is on Ordeals. Alright, Antidale past the water hag. I'm going to check the chest here on the other tower and move on to where probably Ordeals, like you said. Ordeals is probably going to be next. And finding that poison axe in Fabul, looks like he's selling some stuff there to try to make some room for it. Alright, Antidale, heading to Ordeals now. I unfortunately did have to check them real quick. I missed the key item on Ordeals there. But it looks like it was a tower key. Okay, I can see it on the tracker. And while the two runners are high-fiving each other on Ordeals, so I want to take a moment to thank Moonblaze Wolf for our restream today, and Dathis for tracking. And for Mechaling for joining me in the booth this morning for all your breakfast pun. Alright, and d2kemps getting his lunar whale. Probably gonna do that character check and get his ninja. As Antidale is now working his way through the Dark Elf. Right.
Surprisingly slow Dark Elf fight.
It is, and glad to have you back, Mecha. I can hear you again. I don't know if everybody else could hear us.
Yeah, there was something weird going on there for a second. D2kemps didn't check the shop. Going for the character first.
He's probably just doing it in reverse order.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
All right. Thank you, Maggie and Moonblaze, for telling us you can hear me. That's good.
Yeah,
And,
Moonblaze is often an early streamer, so now we're just putting what would be his Final Fantasy IX time to Final Fantasy IV's use. We're gonna throw 20,000 gold. Is that what we're doing here?
And it still doesn't kill it in one hit. You know,
it
maybe
still
he was
doesn't
just trying to
kill
give the wall a donation.
Well, I think the wall appreciates it. When it falls into the deep ravine, it'll have, 20,000 gold worth of sharded metal.
That can be an effective cushion.
All right, they've sold the silver staff, so we know they're not going to use. They're kind of off the berserk and unberserk strats. Silver staff's activation is actually a berserk curing spell. Strange.
All right, and Antidale's going in. He's going to get his paladin and his tower key.
Yeah, but we have run out of overworld checks. So, all right, hourglasses means hair dryers. That's
So I'm going out on a limb here and saying that this is probably the party d2kemps is going to be sticking with if he's going to go ahead and start grinding a little.
It's a strong party for Bacchus if Bacchuses are in the scenario. There's also a slingshot mechanism in this game where if you get a character and they're below the party average by 5 levels or so, they get double XP from what the rest of the party would get. So that there's not too much harm in some early grinding. Additionally, it's possible that Cecil will get that bonus here and rocket up to a much higher level than the rest of them because he's level 1 when you get him.
Okay, yep. So yeah, that's possibly it there, and keeping the party level well. He's going to take a little bit of a nap first before we do that because the hair dryer's getting off their attacks they got in before the stop spell hit.
Okay, there's a life. So like, where are your life potions? There they.
Yeah, Dark Paladin, you're probably right. Unless all the healers are sleeping in today, he probably will drop Sid for a healer at some point.
Yeah. I mean, we know that one of them's not sleeping in. Like Sand Ruby and back of Giant are, or no, maybe there's a healer at Package. Yeah, Package and Giant, great places to find the healers.
All right, we got Antidale. He's checking out the Silveria shops, finds an Earth Hammer hiding in the grass. Please don't trip on that, it might.
Yeah, it might cause a small earthquake. It's dangerous. All right, we found an Ice Claw. The lesser used weapons on Edge. Edge can equip both ninja swords and claws. They're not good on the attack power, but they're good on the elemental weakness.
Right, and finding Cure 3s here. Picking up, looks like a stack of 10 just in case you're going to need them.
And with this party, you might well end up taking Cure 3s all the way to Zeromus with a chemist strategy.
I'm wondering at this point, with just buying that stack of Cure 3s, is he going to go for that? Yep, it looks like he's going to run the whole hook route, and or not. Maybe, trading in the pink tip.
Yeah, quick pink tail check. Reasonable. Right, like an Excalibur, Crystal, Artemis bow. Right, like there's a lot of either ninja sword. Right, like, there's a lot of good hits here. Heck, you've got Kane. Right, it could be a white spear or defense sword. Right, like
or a white robe.
Cecil could still wear that. So.
Yep, just found a plain white tee there.
Yep. Looks good on Cecil. Looks good. Yeah, no, there are a lot of better hits there, unfortunately. I mean, white shirt's still good defensive gear, but definitely, I think, was hoping for some offense out of that spot.
Yep, and now it looks like he's gonna go run the hook route and find out who's hanging out down there with some form of Milan.
And d2kemps has made it through the hair dryers, gets Quake on the kid, gets a ton of levels, gets a straw, and everybody needs a straw to go with breakfast. Well, not everybody. As long as it's reusable, and it is.
That's right, we're all about sustainable here.
Yeah, Cecil goes from level 1 to 28. That's the power of the so-called slingshot mechanism. And yeah, now Cecil is at or higher level than the rest of the party, despite being level 1 to start that fight. 20 ninja swords! Oh no, samurai arrows, alright. Alright, so yeah, we got samurai arrows and an elven bow. It's a pretty solid bow setup.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably pretty well set up for the Milan fight, depending on which version it is.
Yeah.
And still skipping all those chests.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the trap chest fight here. It doesn't give much experience. It's a little slow, right? Like you're basically doing it because you really want the key item. Which in this party you might actually really want the high tier item, but yeah, it's just the experience is really not great.
Right. See here, it looks like he's setting up, moving some characters around. Maybe he's gonna try to do the Mad Ogre chest. He's got those hourglasses, so that's probably not gonna be the worst idea.
No, I think a Mad Ogre chest would be a great thing. If you life glitch all of them successfully, you get roughly 18,000 experience. It's a good.
Right, and d2kemps finding the bard at the breakfast table.
Yep. Gonna find out that bard turns into a dragon. Very scary. I mentioned the life glitch before. The fun things regarding game programming. The life spells bring you back to life based on your vitality for your hit points. Monsters don't have any vitality, and so if you bring them back to life, they die immediately, and you get credit for the kill. Nice, easy. It's the glitch we leave enabled because it gets rid of some of the grinding, and really grinding's only so much fun.
Yeah, and Mega Nuke's still not killing that wyvern there in the inn.
Even with 2 reflected, that's a shame.
It looks like Palom overdid a little bit on breakfast, needs a little pick-me-up.
Yeah. He's tired. And the Mad Ogres are stopped despite being heavy hitters and with nearly 2,000 HP. The Mad Ogres fall fairly straightforwardly to stop and an Ogre Axe.
And double life glitching on the first one.
You love to see it. If as many life you can't select them when they're fully gone off the screen, but if you can jam multiple lives in the way, you can get even more experience out of that. So they'll actually get more than the 18 if they manage to get life click the third one, and it looks. d2kemps finds out that Edward had the pigtail all along, and
yep, just under 19,000 there for killing the equivalent of, I believe, 9 Mad Ogre.
Weird. I thought it was more than. I thought it would be more than that. And only a gold apple for the troubles, but that experience is really what the fight. The hair dryers had a straw, the drain spear, as we colloquially refer.
Gonna tent up here before we get to the first fight of our 2-fight mini gauntlet here.
Being tail rewarded, Venerable was the white shirt. Alright, are we going to see something rude? High physical, high speed bosses here can be a pain.
Yep, it's going to be a pain because it's Pain Man.
Yep, Pain Man brings the pain. Still probably something we can win over, yeah. With eggs and sausage both having such high HP. Like, this isn't a hard fight because it's only going to do the 3 stock dark waves and then be done. So a couple tier 2s keeps the sausage from getting too fried, and we are through.
And Dark Knight, yep, he's gotten through his breakfast.
Couldn't finish off the sausage. It's got a lot of protein out of that breakfast, though. That's for sure.
Right, we're gonna move on to the next boss. Now the question is he gonna go back and save before he fights this one?
I don't think I would.
I don't think I would either at this point because you're set up for it, whichever version it is.
And we see d2kemps tear through the Staleman fight and get a Sorcerer Robe, which is a big upgrade for that black. And now they can loot everything.
Yep, and equipping the Fire Claw on that edge and then using a Bacchus Wine, so he's going to be hitting fast, he's going to be hitting hard.
And then explicitly using cover by Cecil to make sure that Edge doesn't take one to the face and get punked. But even it already looks like it only took like 400 damage from a punch, so I feel like Serial's going to be up for this entire fight.
Yep, and
ooh, it's poisoned, and we knew it. Poison hash.
Poison hash. It's not good for your breakfast in the morning.
No. Little mismenu there. Venom's not going to work on the Fiend of Poison or Earth. Certainly only feels like they should have been the Fiend of Poison.
Yep, and got a lot of hit points at the spot up, but the Serial is just working its way through.
Yep, as Serial's a workhorse, just gets the job done. We're just waiting on Bacon, even. Doing a little menuing, hoping that would kill. It wasn't. And then finally jumping.
There we go.
And taking the time, these long boss stats give you some time to do menuing. Very, very important in the vanilla speedrun. Not quite as important in free enterprise, but every second, any second you can get is.
All right, so he's through that fight, and now he's gonna head on down to the underground and see where he goes there first from here. Gets his brand new shiny red airship.
A pitfall. Bang.
And d2kemps right on his heels, working his way through Upper Babel now, and he's gonna find the ogres in the chest.
Yeah, I mean, Antidale's been a little more thorough in kind of like taking some slightly out of the way checks, but like not chests, but just checks. But d2kemps is gonna, be into the underworld shortly thereafter. 37 minutes is a pretty good time getting the underworld with a hook. It speaks to the strength of the party, really.
All right, so at this point, I'm thinking he might just head to the dwarf castle first. Character check, key item check. Unfortunately, you can't land on the castle Antidale. You have to land next to it.
Lolly ho. Nah, there's no space for landing there. They're not used to airships. They have tanks. Yeah, I've been playing the after years, and it's funny. Luca becomes an engineer under Sid's tutelage, but you don't see her like working on a tank or anything. Ew, CPU.
Yep, the dwarves are hiding a computer back there.
Yep. I mean, that's the daughter. Instead of dolls in this canon, she works on computers. I dig it. Yeah, the CPU fight is rarely a hard fight, but can often be a slow one. CPU's only offense is 10% health damage, but they have the attacker and defender to do that repeatedly. Defender will heal up the CPU for 10% of its health, and if you dare take down the attacker and the defender, CPU gets mad.
He does get mad. He will no longer like his breakfast.
No, he'll show his breakfast at door, as it were. So it just tends to be a very slow fight as you have to deal with a backroad CPU, or trying to blast through it. We've got Dark Knight on d2kemps side. Is d2kemp going to manage to keep Sausage up or not?
Unfortunately, no. I think he went in without healing. So that's going to be, that's going to be a loss of a couple minutes.
Probably loss of a minute. Slower battle speed. Cursed Ring to get that agility down. This is a little early preview of agility anchoring, the most important strategy against Zeromus, since sliced bread.
No, we've already got rid of sliced bread. We left Toast and Baron.
That's true. But Edward is a good strategy against Zeromus. So it is the most important strategies.
Yep. Edward can solo Zeromus.
Yep.
Oh, and Odin hanging out in the Dwarven Castle. So 2 kings, and there's Muffin.
All right, we like Muffin.
But he got rid of Bacon. Boo this man. Boo this man. He just got rid of Bacon.
Boo this man. Got rid of Bacon, keeping Sausage. Right? Like, I don't get it. I don't like. Sid's upside is much lower than Kane's in my estimation. For one, Peep is strictly worse than Jump.
Yeah, I can't even argue that point. Peep is objectively worse than Jump. I'm sorry, Ninja Debugger, I am going to have to disagree with you. Sausage is not objectively better than Bacon.
Yeah, no, I'm not with ND either. ND is a friend of mine from elsewhere, so he knows. All right, but Rosa levels up quickly, and Odin was a requirement, so this was a required spot. And now we wait for Odin's Gauntlet to go and slowly creep towards Crystal.
It's a thief. Stop it.
Oh, okay. Chaos Lord 2 brings up an important point. He mentions with Cecil that kills anchoring with Sid, right? No, actually. In the 3.0 and 4.0 releases of the randomizer, we have what is called the agility agnostic flag, and in 4.0 it's actually the default, which is to say that no longer is Cecil the anchor if he's in the party. It is always the person in the middle. So that is actually a huge change that makes Cecil a much more playable character.
And better ninja sword for Antidale there, coming from Luca. I don't know why she had a Murasame hiding, but hey, it's
not just Murasame hiding. Murasame on the chain. She's wearing as a necklace. So that is some extra edgelord stuff going on right there. She wants to be a ninja when she grows up. viable cursed rings if we didn't already have 2. Light sword, lightsaber, which is, I mean, would be an upgrade for Cecil, I guess.
Right, and I'm thinking the next stop here is going to be Tomra, check the shops, and then probably move on to the Fey March and check shops and key item there. And is Antidale going to validate the seed and finding out what job the dwarf has?
That's a good question. Sirens. Gee, that must be nice finding sirens in a seed. D2kemps though, we said they're only just behind Antidale, but right, like now with that death to Dark Knight Cecil, right, like they look much more behind, right? Like we were figuring they'd be down, they'd be fighting Dwarf Castle or doing whatever in the Underworld by this time, but that time loss like really feels like a lot.
Yep, and crystal armor there, and this dwarf is not being talked to.
No, explicitly had the time even. They were blocked by the door. They had the moments to check, and instead they pick up their 3rd cursed ring and don't talk to the job dwarf. The disrespect with this breakfast party.
Well, also finding good money in the chest room with the crystal armor they just sold to buy some more sirens. So you get some sirens, you get some coffins, and probably gonna go make an omelet over on the peninsula.
Are we going back for job dwarf?
He's going back for job dwarf, and I didn't even see what the job was.
Glass blower. They are a glass blower this fine morning. All right, so we are glassblower. Not really a breakfast profession. Definitely a hipster profession. But we are going down to the Fey March, the land of some.
Yep, and see what key item we have down there.
Yep, the rat tail chest could have anything. Well, not anything, but most anything.
I'm gonna say it's actually gonna have the rat tail because we haven't even had our obligatory line yet.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's rat tail, then we're on a pure boss hunt, right? So.
But that is actually something nice. That's a protect ring.
Yeah, protect ring's really good defensive gear, and it's got resistance to dragons, which can be a very helpful thing.
Right, and d2kemps looks like he's gonna be doing the tower here.
Also a good efficient check. 2 bosses, 2 key items instead of 1, but no character, so you're trading a character for it.
Also, there's a Mist Dragon. The Mist Dragon is now the queen of the Fey March, so I'm gonna, since we're gonna get a save here and then go fight that.
Did the red imps get an upgrade? Were those red imps next to her?
I believe that was a Rubicante.
Ah, okay. I didn't quite catch it. So I just saw red and I'm like, is that imps? Okay. So no.
But,
so yeah, the exits out makes sense. That's at a fast spot, right? Like, D-Mist will turn back into Mist a lot. It can be quite a slow fight if you don't have DPS.
And it's a Lunar Sparkle, top of the tower. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be a Nope Rope. Just gonna throw that.
Good guess. I think a Nope Rope's a strong choice here. Yeah.
I'm only guessing this way I can be wrong.
No, it's D-Lunars. All right. D-Lunars. They have a lot of scripts going on. We'll see which script d2kemps want to play with today. Was it Quake? Hallam will show you how it's done, Sid.
Yeah.
That's a Quake. Yeah, the Earth Hammer does have a usable Quake-like attack, but it's not as powerful as Gaia Drums or Quake itself.
Alright, Antidale climbing the tower now too. See if he's gonna stop and check the cannon room first.
Yeah, I mean...
Thought about it.
indecisive. You shouldn't be indecisive. Like if you're gonna make a play, like if you're gonna keep walking, you just keep walking, right? Like, what's the payoff in going? d2kemps killed one of the dragons first, and that puts them in fire all the time mode. That's not a great mode when you don't have a white man.
No, it's not. It's not, and not as good as the Eddie Murphy party all the time mode.
No, that's a much better mode. But we both saw the fire into breath. Woo! We saw though the dragon hit Palom for 1, and that's the protect ring speaking right there. But even with the protect ring, unfortunately, Palom as a frog goes down. Yeah, like that fire into breath was devastating, and we'll see if Kane can pull it out. And he can't, and that is a wipe.
Yep, and that's gonna be a reset, a loss of a couple minutes there.
Oh, that's a bad wipe. I don't think they saved in the tower. No, that is a full wipe, and they are noping out.
Yep, and Antidale using Cecil using his eggs to cover the muffin there. Got to make sure the muffin stays alive so that she can gain levels.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You gotta, we're building a little breakfast sandwich there. And there we go again, Earthhammer. Because if Sid attacks, they enter a script which is them reflecting virus onto you 2 times a turn, which kills a character a turn, which is probably easier to deal with than a bunch of fires, but not easier to deal with than them punching you repeatedly.
Yep, and they're both still up. And Rosa casting some cure spells on there. Maybe, hate to say it, but probably need to start casting some cure spells on the party.
Yeah. Well, the next thing that's going to happen is breath, and so that's the real question: is are they gonna? Nope. It's breath time. Ding, 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 ding. And the second one doesn't hit the other ones, and Antidale sees the writing on the wall and doesn't try to recover from that breath. They did save in the tower, and so...
Right. So I'm thinking they'll do the cannon check next, and then maybe, depending on how that goes, head back upstairs.
Yeah, no, I mean that's they're having a tough time with D-Lunar. That's like the Cure 3s that they picked that they could have picked up earlier, right? Like those actually do a significant amount of damage versus these. Right? We saw that some there, right? Like Bahamut. Look out for that Mega Flare. Oh wait.
He has a Mega Flare?
I don't know. I'm supposed to counter something. Like that's his whole thing. Is he counts down to something? I don't know. He's gone now though. Oh, there's still going to be an explosion though. Don't worry.
Yep. See, this is where Wyvern has it correctly. Wyvern likes to cook his breakfast first instead of just waiting.
It's true. Yep, you're right. It was Rubicante and is taking over Leviathan's spot, and similarly, d2kemps sees it and decides that those fights will be too slow or too hard, and nopes the nope out. Is Antidale going to go up top? Nope. We are leaving behind the top of tower because D-Lunars are just too hard for these people at this point.
Yep. d2kemps doing the Sylph Cave check. Unlock Sheila 1. Maybe not the worst thing in the world.
No, I think that's a fine thing. One thing I want to note though is these two had sirens. All they had to do was crack an egg earlier, and like all of their troubles with the top of the tower, right? Like possibly the ability to they have access to killing an egg very quickly, and they even had coffins, right? Like this, they absolutely had the ability to take these fights and just chose not to.
Right. I can see maybe Antidale's going to be doing that now.
Maybe.
See what the key item is from the cannon room.
Yeah, it's surprisingly useful to crack an egg every now and again. Pass.
Right, and it looks like d2kemps is gonna do just that. Gonna make an omelet here with an egg.
Finally, it's a little late, but the experience is still good. The breakfast is still good here.
Yep, and
have some egg on egg violence happening.
That's right. Yeah, and while these guys are making some eggs, just want talk about the Fabul Gauntlet a little bit. This is the play-in matches. We've already completed the first stage. Both these runners finished 3 and 2. Winner of this one makes it to the bracket stage. And the loser of this one will unfortunately have egg on their face.
Yep. Not more egg on their face than trying to land on the mountain, though. Doesn't work. And Antidale's actually going for multiple eggs. Kinda don't hate it. Oh, surprise egg! Where'd it come from?
Don't you hate it when an egg sneaks up on you?
I hate it when I sound an alarm for a monster. And then I'm like, but where is it? And then suddenly an egg pops up out of nowhere. It's like, ah!
Right, and I'm wondering, some folks in the chat, pointing out that maybe Antidale's just getting his grinding now because this may be the party he just sticks with.
I don't think that's the case. No, we get double XP at 10 key items. We absolutely do not want to do our full grind until 10 key items, if we can help it. And there's Bacchus Wines. We've got Drunk Dwarves, and we have all of the possibly high tier items that don't show up in this seed. So, again, grr. So yeah, Bacchus Wines will make this fairly heavy melee party, all right for the Zeramis fight. We won't need a white mage to win that one, but we will. Might need one to get there.
Yep, picking up some more life potions and some mute bells.
Yeah, mute bells are an interesting kind of side option that's cheaper than an hourglass against certain free bosses.
Yep, and d2kemps going through the dwarf castle now. Probably gonna be very happy with finding Rosa here.
Yep, Rosa and Odin. Some great things for them. Antidale doing the Agart check and getting illusions, which are a useful tool. Hasn't equipped their Murasame yet. Can't imagine why they wouldn't want to equip the Cursed Sword.
All right, and Antidale is going, checking out Kaipo. Interesting play here. Probably just seeing who's sleeping in this morning.
I mean, they're item shop checking, so are they still looking for something? I mean, they didn't find it there. Silk webs. We haven't seen silk webs.
Oh, silk. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, Antidale. That would be my guess. Silk webs or star veils, right? Is what Antidale is looking for here, right? Those are the two things that are kind of missing as tools in their toolbox. And both of those, they're probably in Tamara, or sorry, not Tamara, Troya. They're star veils.
And cabins.
Yep, cabins too. If you haven't practiced these seeds and found yourself lacking sleeping equipment at some point, you probably haven't practiced enough seeds.
I will tell you, the pot in the underground has become my best friend in seeds without cap.
Yeah. All right, CPU down, and it looks like Lunar Rail is going to go up again, as d2kemps finds Odin and.
So I'm wondering if this is going to be Bahamut Cave check, or is he going to start descending down the lunar subterranean with those mute bells? Would be able to warlock grind.
Yep, and d2kemps discarding the proper character, which is to say Sid, and Antidale looks like they are going at least somewhat into the lunar subterranean.
Also, Antidale picked up the pass from the cannon room, so doesn't actually need to go down through the whole lunar subterranean when he's ready to go fight Zeromus. Has that pass to go through the pub in Troy.
Yep, even if you're in the lunar subterranean, it's still almost always faster to use the pass, unless you're coming straight off of the Ogopogo spot. But yeah, Antidale doing the long walk down to the dense cluster of bosses at the bottom of this cave, because at this point, right, we're looking for one key item and one boss.
Right. I mean, if you're looking for one key item, you have 5 checks here on the moon. That's probably not the worst thing in the world. Just trying to remember, did anybody actually check the waterfall cave?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Knowing luck, that is where Octomom is going to be vanilla.
That would be your is this even randomized check of the day, if that's the case. Paladin Cecil's best weapon at the moment is... Oh, no, we are doing Warlock grind. He's switched to a mage killer weapon. That's the plan for killing those Warlocks effectively.
Right, unfortunately, the Warlocks... Okay, getting that mute bell off.
Yep.
Before they do. We're gonna get one more fire to him, but it missed.
Yep. And that's that. They only have magic moves, so these are, what 6,000 HP and big bundles of experience at this point.
Yep, and d2kemps looks like they're gonna do a little bit more grinding, put on a Murasame and a Cat Claw.
How? Mage Killer. There are 8 monster types in this game. There is equipment that both protects you defensively against them and aids you offensively against them. And the Elven Bow happens to be one such mage killer, as it's referred to in some later games, weapon, giving Cecil that quad damage, really just helping them chew through what would otherwise be a much too high level mob set.
And life glitching each of these Warlocks for 86,000 experience points.
Yep. Essentially the same experience points as the double dragon fight, but doable with cheaper items, right? Like sirens and mute bells instead of sirens and hourglasses. Gets Rose of the Cure 3. Yeah, no, that's a good, early-ish grind, and gonna do it again. d2kemps, Antidale, why? Just threw away a siren. You know how much I would have paid last night for a siren?
Probably a lot more than the item shop that wasn't selling them was charging.
Yes, so much. But yeah, nah, just wanted to get Sid agility anchored all the way down, and d2kemps is going to cash in that Sheila 1 check, which we haven't seen.
We'll see what the key item is here from Sheila.
Yeah, it's highly possible, like, we don't have anything demanding that we go to the moon, right? Like, the numbers are with Antidale, but all that is, like, we're looking for 1 key item and 1 boss, and those could still be on Earth. Pan. Vanilla Pan.
Is this even randomized?
Is
Seriously?
Is it? I don't know. Board.
Get your hashtag blame MoonBlazeWolves in the chat for the non-random seed.
Yeah, I mean, the pan is 2 key items, and, like, that's a relatively, it's not necessarily time efficient, and here we're going to see Waterfall. This could be huge. If we find Octomam here, right, like, we're down to a key item hunt.
It is not Octomam, no, it's Asura, and that means it's a reset.
The big thing is a key item hunt, right? Like has a much more restricted set of locations. A boss hunt, there are some really ugly positions for bosses. The giant, the behind package, Luca Cave, right? Like there are a number of places for bosses that are much more annoying to check than for key items. And
right.
So you want to turn it into a key item hunt as fast as you can, if you can.
And sometimes you just randomly forget a boss spot.
I've definitely come down to places where it's been like, where is it? Where I've only got like I've done every check. How can it possibly? Oh, it's in this cave. Nope rope with 42,000 HP at the D-Lunar spot. You got the spots transposed, but your heart was in the right place.
Hey Ogopogo, your office is down the hall.
Yep. Ogopogo is indeed like you called Ogopogo at on top of the tower. It was D-Lunars because Ogopogo and moved them out of has like, hey, like get out of my spot.
Yeah.
Go to the tower.
All right, so it looks like the sausage is gonna be playing the chemist role in this one, trying to keep everybody alive while eggs and cereal just beat up on the Nopro.
Yeah, this bot has fairly high physical attack, and that's the problem here, right? Like the right, like generally, like a white mage can help you through these big wave HP percentage fights, but when it hits that hard, right, like it followed up the double dark wave with Tag and Muffin, right? Like that's the problem.
Yep, and the Sylph's just hiding a gold apple for Whack and Yang with.
That's 2 gold apples to seed. So
which is 2 more than I've seen in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold apples. I usually see a gold apple and a silver apple in a single seed. Not 2 golds, but all right, Ogopogo doing the single wave. So yeah, it looks like this fight's back under Antidale's control, and I'm not in love with the life potion here because the next wave is coming soon, but might try the punch.
Maybe. Well, it looks like Ogopogo still wanted to punch. Oh, and a Baron key for turning in the pan.
And the rabbit hole continues deeper and deeper. I mean, you gotta follow it, right?
Yeah, at this point, because you're looking for 1 key item and 1 specific boss. I would follow this rabbit hole too.
Yeah. The nice thing is that we get 2 unknown bosses and 2 key items again, right? Like this is, a very solid numbers play, right? In terms of efficiency, right? Like it just so happens that d2kemps has kind of stumbled into another line which is about as efficient as the moon and easier to kill, and doesn't involve leaving the blue planet. It'll leave them behind in experience a little compared to Antidale, but A, if this is the right path, it doesn't matter, and B, right, like it's a long path, right? Like, so if even half of the goals are here, right, like the Antidale's gonna have to do the same thing.
Right, and using those gold apples on Rosa, probably a smart play there. Give her just a little bit more HP to help survive some of these fights. And I think this Rosa's still level 1. Oh, and there's the rat tail on the moon.
There's the rat tail on the moon. Oof. All right. Bosses could still be on Earth, but it has now become a pure boss hut for Antidale. So let's see, what boss locations don't they have access to? They don't have the Luca key. They don't have the package. They don't have the twin harp, so they don't have Baron key, right? Like they don't have Earth, right? Like every gated boss except for the hook bosses are. I would not reset out of King Queen Emblem.
I wouldn't either. I mean,
I said, you need. There are 5 gated boss checks, right? Like any one of them could be where the boss is at this point, right? Like
maybe he'll come back to it after checking the Ogopogo spot.
Maybe that's fair.
Let's see if we're living the dream here. I mean, if this is the Fabul Gauntlet at the Ogopogo spot, he's gonna nope out of it. But
yeah,
I just love to see it.
I would love to see it here. It's just Mylon and friends.
Yep. So looks like he's gonna fight this one out.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy spot. We got Kainazo is the Baigan spot. Gonna be pretty simple.
Speaking of which, Kainazo, who kicked you off the throne?
It's a good question. Could be 16 monsters in a trench coat.
It could be 16 monsters in a trench coat. It could also be an octopus.
And so, yeah, the fact that he's taking Mylon does speak to that they're probably going to go back to King Queen Emblem, right? Like, they just wanted to, like, face check this on the off chance that, like, this was Octomam and they didn't have to fight that fight, but they're obviously going to go back to that fight. There's no way you don't. Like, if you're going to clear this, you're going to clear that. It's just that you changed up the order a little.
I mean, a free boss is a free boss.
Right. Like, it's just a matter of ordering, I think. Like, they'd rather, like, if this was the boss, they'd rather just have this and move on. But it's not, so they'll just go back and kill it. So, at least that's my thought, is that was their line.
And Mylon using those lightning wands, and they are hitting pretty hard.
Yeah, the magic power on this spot is sufficient. Mom Bomb, so it's 6 monsters inside of 1 monster, and
It's the mom bomb, the monster that ate too much for breakfast.
Yeah, it's a little much. Should have left some for her kids. This will be a relatively easy spot. It looks like with Berserk, it looks like they're going to try and push through the explosion phase. Mom Bomb has 10,000 or so more HP than the spot has to handle the explosion phase, which you can burn down, right? Like, especially with late game parties. If you can tear through that extra 10k, right? Like, you never see the kid.
Yep, and looks like that's the goal here. Berserking up Cecil.
Oh, yeah, look at this nice, fast Mylon fight. Yeah, we're really chewing through this quickly. Mylon counters everything with Lit 1. Not just like low physicals, I meant everything.
Right, and powers through the Mom Bomb, gets through that HP, so it doesn't break up into the smaller bombs, and for your trouble, it's Rit.
Ah, unfortunate. I don't think Riddy is going to be invited to breakfast. No. With what do we get off Mylon? Spoon.
Wait, we've been going through this whole breakfast and nobody had a spoon?
Yeah, what were we eating that cereal with? Oh man. A fork? You can eat cereal with a fork, I guess. And we are warping. That to me, that indicates that they are in fact just going to leave King Queen Emblem. Okay.
Well, maybe checking the Wyvern spot first, and coming back.
Coming back is super painful, though. Queen Harp. Keep chasing that rabbit hole. Although I expect him to go down to the Odin spot since they're here.
I mean, I guess you could reset out of the Wyvern spot, and then you're right back next to King Queen Eblon.
You could, but my guess is that Antidale's gonna, as long as Antidale saves slots correctly, right? Like that's still an option.
Right, and
Nope.
yes, Project Dia.
I just wrote right.
Antidale is in a boss hunt right now. He is looking for an octopus, and he found it.
The octopus at Wyvern spot. The moon is vaunted. Both the Rat Tail and Octomom are on the moon, and that is crushingly bad for d2kemps. At this point, I'm not sure how d2kemps can recover from the moon being the only place where things are.
Right, because everything he needs is on the moon.
Yep. And Octomom at this spot, this is the traditional Wyvern spot. So it doesn't use physical attacks, which means, of course, its physical attack is ridiculous, and its magical attack is a little surprisingly low for the spot because the spells it uses are so high powered that they didn't want them to be a complete wipe every time they were used. But still, this is going to be a straightforward kill on Octomom, but yeah, that's Antidale. That'll put Antidale in essentially go mode.
Yep, they'll probably just have to grind up just a little bit more and then move on. Just use the pass.
They have to they have to make a choice of whether they want to take Muffin and Hash up to their top tier single target spells or not, or if they just want to berserk their way through everything. And the package behind Octomom. The Earth Crystals, d2kemps continues to get rabbit holed. Every single gating item being in a chain on the Earth. And that's just, like, now it's Twin Harp and Earth and Troya, right? Like, that's like, one of them you might go to the moon. Both of them starts to become tempting again.
Right, and then if one of them has the Luca key.
Right, you're looking for a boss and a key item. That's 3 bosses and 2 key items. just the Earth is just trolling d2kemps, and yeah. And they are making what is, what looks like an incredibly reasonable play, and we just know it won't work out for them.
And okay, so I was wondering why Antidale didn't exit out, and it looks like he's gonna just kill some more Warlock.
Yeah, it's the grind that they're set up for. Makes sense. They have their 10 key items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. So they do not have their key items because all the key items are on the Earth. But at this point, they're in near go mode. So yeah, sure. What grind are they going to do on the Earth once they get their rat tail item and crystal?
Oh, his d2kemps going up to Zot. He is going up to Zot.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, bought 2 bosses, now 1 key item, and usually you do Twin Harp into Zot because Twin Harp takes you back to Troya while Zot puts you at Baron, but it's not a huge difference, and you get more bosses this way.
And we get music, which is what we want.
Well, but we're not getting that today. So
No, sorry.
no.
Unless d2kemps follows that rabbit hole, there will be no music.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's just super rough rabbit hole for d2kemps. Is if all of the chain items are on Earth behind the pan. Yeah, behind Sylphs. Talking to Yang in the bed has done us dirty. That's Barodisha.
Yep. She's like, I don't want to sit back there. I'll just come outside and greet my guests.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree slightly with Moonblaze Wolf. I think the early finish will tell d2kemps that, it's clearly on the moon. Right? I don't feel like... I feel like by the time that the finish happens, d2kemps is going to be done with the chain. Right? It's going to be down to, it's in Twin Harp is, the worst case scenario. Right? If not having already done Twin Harp. Yeah, no giant, but, realistically, right, you still have to find the key item, and the key item's gotta be on the moon. Right? So, where you're gonna go to the moon, because that's where the key item is, and then you're gonna find the boss, and then you're gonna be done. Giant, you need to find the key item, and he's not gonna find it on Earth. That's the thing, is right, you should, you can do giant if you want, but that key item is...
Right, yeah, you're not looking for a character. All you get out of the giant is a character check.
Right, yes, you could do giant, and that might be where Octomom is, but you still have to canvas the entirety of the moon is the correct play. Right, even with an early finish. So, yeah, I feel like that's where it's gonna go, but I'm gonna...
And Antidale getting his crystal, and we'll see what other item they have for him here in the cave.
Hey, Rosa. Must
Okay.
not be
No,
Edward
it was
in the bed.
Luca. Rosa was the dupe.
Yep.
And getting the Luca key. And he's d2kemps is gonna leave both of them in the tower because doesn't need them.
Yep.
And is that 10 key items for Antidale?
Yep, by getting the 10 key, Antidale was at 8, and so that's why I was saying the problem was that you go back to the Earth, get 10 key items, and where are they gonna grind, right? What do you do if you go back to Earth and then you get your 10 key items? Do you come back to the moon, right? When you have pass? Gross.
Right, and getting his party order set up because it looks like he's gonna be heading into the closet in the pub and finding something very surprising back there.
Yeah, in Japanese type, that you could buy the pass here, and it would take you back to a saucy bar in the back. But instead, here it takes you to a variant of the Serpent Road, which takes you to the moon. And I see a few Z flags sitting over there, the big honking flags with question marks on them. You want to explain that? Give us the phrase. This fine breakfast morning.
Sure. Hang on, let me put down my toast. So Mecca, whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight? Or
Good
this
question.
morning?
It's a good question because Zeromus is big, complicated, messy, and hard. We've left him at his vanilla spot. So to add some randomizer excitement to the mix, we randomize the sprite that happens when you use the crystal upon him. We have a plethora of sprites in the 450 or so cents. So it can be a lot of things. Doesn't look like we got a key item out of that path, and so d2kemps is making the reasonable, like maybe it's the top of tower, like we waited for a long time, we abandoned that check. Tower it is.
Alright, and using the crystal there, and let's see what are his true colors.
Every time I see this, I think of that song. Big!
King Pig.
Yeah, you abandoned bacon. You don't
And
think
now-
we're good enough for you? You don't think we're good enough for you?
Alright, looks like we're going to be getting some hybrid strats because the Star Veil did just go up on the hash.
That makes sense. Hybrid strats seem reasonable here. Although since Hash doesn't have anything but virus, these are some weak hybrids. Ooh, Muffin taking the nuke. That's the person you really didn't want to take the nuke.
Didn't hit for very much though, so
Yeah, we're getting lit 3 on our reflect.
and meanwhile, eggs, sausage, and cereal are just gonna beat up on the pig.
Yeah, they've had their mimosas. They are ready. And d2kemps doing the dip tower key and exit still doesn't want to try that D-Lunars fight. Super risky.
And that Big
conceptually.
Bang not hitting for very much. That's right, probably nerfed it, so.
Yeah. We saw the counter nuke that hit Rosa, right? Like, so we know that there was a nerf involved. But yeah, so now we are in the main core of the fight, where it's a matter of out DPSing King Pigmas before he Big Bangs you. A unnerfed Big Bang does somewhere between 24 and 2600 damage generally, and that can do a lot of damage to this party.
Right, yep, and the hash is casting level 3 elementals, which, while not doing as much as, say, a nuke, is still good enough, though, to help throw some damage onto the King Pig.
Right. One of the things, but I mentioned that it was complicated. Between 45,000 and 61,000 HP, Zeromus actually has a script change which cancels their current action set. So you can get them to skip a Big Bang, so to speak. And then they have another script change when they go into Rock's phase. And so the reason you might be rushing this damage down is essentially you're trying to outrace that Big Bang, right? Like you're trying to get Zeromus to take less actions against you. And like that's often why you choose hybrid strats, is to try and like outrace that damage in terms of sheer action economy.
Right, and throwing King Pigmas a chance there by just reflecting a heal onto him.
Yep. Wall does not discriminate. Wall will reflect everything.
And d2kemps heading downstairs onto the moon, so making that right play to head downstairs. Hopefully he'll check the D-Lunar spot first and get the rat.
Yeah.
And King Pigmas working his way through the hash there.
Yeah, hash down. Hash is now browned. Hash is down, and like we got another Cure 4 on that unnerfed Big Bang, and everybody had the damage reduced significantly. So at this point, I expect the Berserk strats to carry the day. Although the Black Hole is annoying. Black Hole's going to turn off all that sweet Berserk action.
Yep, and I don't think there's any more Bacchus wine, so you just gotta wait for Rosa to get Berserk back up on everybody.
So one question is whether d2kemps is going to do top down here, or like and try like to do the Wyvern first, but which actually gives them the best information. Because that keeps them from exiting out. But Antidale is seeing rocks fall. Rocks fall and nobody dies. And Cereal uses a spoon, as is appropriate.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does do a ton of damage, and King Pygmus is down. He's running away from this Grand Slam breakfast team. So GG's to Antidale, winning with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 2 seconds. That is the longest it's ever taken me to get through breakfast.
That is a long breakfast. But this was there are there's like 6-7 people involved, so that's a pretty big, complicated breakfast. Got to take all the orders, all that stuff. Yep, and d2kemps is at the Nope Rope, which we know is the boss they have to fight to get the rat tail. Did we just get joined?
Yes, I believe I just heard Antidale join us up here in the booth for a quick interview after the race. So, Antidale, how was your breakfast this morning?
Intense, but we're all good.
Yeah, it's nice when Moon pays. It is nice when Moon pays, and it paid out big time.
Yeah, that was a bit of a gamble, not finishing tower. Like I was halfway up the tower, I'm like, I should have done some sirens before I did this to get Rosa to Cure 3, and then just didn't want to go back.
I agree. You should have done something like that. Was what I was saying when you did it. It was like I felt like if you two had sirens, if you'd crack, you both noped out of that top fight. And I was talking about exactly that if you'd cracked some sirens, right, like that fight would have been much more straightforward. Didn't end up hurting you, and both of you skipped it, but
yeah, I was not about to go back down, do sirens, and come back up. It was just no, this is done. And then fading Deem Mist at Azura was a little bit nerve-wracking because that was totally doable, but it felt like it was going to be longer than necessary. So
yeah, I agree. That fight is just super long, right? Like, and both of you again just faded it. Same deal. Like, the fight is just too long there, even if you manage to survive the hit.
Yeah, if I had like an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword, and I don't think I had the Murasame yet, then maybe I'd think about doing it. But without those, it's just not worth the time. I don't.
No, I agree.
Right. Just one question about fading King Queen Eblon on the moon when you were still looking. I think you were still looking for the rat tail at that point. What was the logic there? Just leaving them alone.
I had already had the rat tail.
No, it wasn't the rat tail. It was that he was missing every gated key item, right? Like Earth, Harp, Baron, right? Like package, like every single possible gated boss item was missed. So like skipping bosses at that point was a huge risk.
Oh, it was. But I was mostly feeling like I needed XP.
Yes, that's certainly true. You did need XP, and that spot is not an XP, and not a top XP spot.
Yeah, and it's fast enough to go back in case I'm wrong. Like, that won't take too much time, especially if I can get to 10 key items, and it's a little bit worth it in terms of XP. The Mylon was a little bit more questionable to actually stay through. That took longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, that took you a good long while. That was not a fast fight. The sad thing for d2kemps is that Sheila 1 was the Pan. Pan turned into Baron Key, Baron Key turned into Earth and Twin Harp. He just got completely rabbit holed by the possibility of things around the Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad play. It's just not the right one today, unfortunately, for Kemps.
Yeah. No, like we were saying, like, you know, all d2kemps has to do is find something down this hole, and your entire moon play, right? Like, you have to do the entire sequence, and then you're on a boss hunt, right? Like, not a key item hunt, and so you have to check everything, right? Like, and if d2kemps finds a key item, like, if he finds the boss, right, like, then you're on the key, like, he's on the key item hunt, you're on the boss hunt. I'd rather be on the key item hunt than the boss hunt any day.
Yeah, I mostly would too, especially since I had so many key items that were still gating bosses that it was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but it so happened that it worked out. The moon was as the moon was everything we wanted it to be and more.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and also, no waffles or pancakes in the character names. Come on, man.
Significant
Pancakes was a little
disappointment.
bit long. Pancakes felt like it was a little bit long to get in, and it's early. I haven't actually had coffee yet. I just had a cup of tea earlier, so brain wasn't thinking too well on what names, and had to have the twins be Hash and Brown.
That was strong. Twins
That
being
was-
Hash
that
and
was
Brown was strong.
Felt like Tella should have actually been Sausage instead, so he could be Sausage.
Good,
But
yeah.
that was a misplay.
Yeah, well, if we can, you can refine your names if you do another morning seed in the brackets.
I mean, maybe, but it's kind of unlikely. It's just now that we're, you know, a little bit more working from home, and Kemps said he works night, so I figured most people were probably making him play after he got up in the morning for him. So I figured I'd switch it around.
Okay. So, that's fine. Breakfast isn't any time food, in my opinion.
For sure.
Also, how great were those sirens, right?
They were nice.
They were. Yeah, you got to do the slightly lesser known grind of warlocks. Gives about as much experience as double dragons, and it's a little cheaper on the pocket.
Cheaper and without weak, a little bit faster.
Yep. Yeah, I saw the mage killer weapon really paid off.
Yeah, I had actually forgotten that I had the mute knife when I was buying those mute bells because I was planning on Zerking Cecil. And I'm like, wait, Edge has a mute knife. This is fine.
Yeah, I saw the. Yeah, but yeah, the Cecil doing that quad damage with the bow and arrow was funny as well.
Yeah, and I saw Dia in chat asking or mentioning that I should have done the eggs, and it was definitely on my mind before I went and did the last couple warlocks. Of like, if I get a key item out of Rat Tail, then that's 10 because of Crystal, and that would be faster. But I did not want to gamble on it because I had no idea what any key items were. I checked so few things.
Right. No, I mean I had that thought too, but like that's like your best case. Like your best case is you go down to Earth, you get 10 key items, and you grind eggs. Your worst case is you go down to Earth, get 9 key items, and want to hit your head against a post. Like, it's like, ugh, why? So yeah, no, Dia deciding that Dia kind of agreeing that warlocks are not a gamble. So
Yeah, they're the safer play. You know, maybe in brackets you feel that you need to go a little bit faster, but you wouldn't have sirens then anyway, probably. So, shrug.
Yep.
Sirens, what are those? I never see those.
I don't know what those are.
Well, we did
Oh,
have
there-
Edge, so we could
there-
have stolen them.
They're only in 90% of seeds, so I don't know. Sometimes you don't see them.
Yeah, well, starting next week, they're going to be a lot less frequent.
They are. They're going to be a lot less frequent in T Pro and S Pro, which will be interesting in its own right. I know some people that have been practicing like the even lesser known grinds, the Sylph Cave grind, the Moon grind, with a reaction, right? Like the really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, reaction's not going to get you Z ready, but it's going to get you, like, maybe Moon Boss ready.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to kind of mention about the seed? Talk about before.
I don't think so. It was kind of scarily open, which is definitely speaks to the divergence that Kemps and I had. But overall, it was pretty straightforward in terms of bosses and stuff. Nothing too scary.
Except for that D-Lunars.
Yeah, and they weren't scary. We just misplayed. I hadn't bothered to shop and get Star Veils, so that was just whoops.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, and good luck in the bracket.
Yep. Thank you all for being up early this morning and doing this whole restream. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Antidale, and we'll see you next week when, surprisingly, the game will get harder.
Woohoo!
And in the meantime, d2kemps has been trying to mop up the moon. Ogopogo has been difficult, as Ogopogo often can be. And we are being switched off. Unfortunately, we didn't see it on stream, but d2kemps did forfeit that seed. So since it's a 2-person race, that makes some amount of sense. But yeah.
Yeah, considering this is this one was for the winner take all one to get into the bracket round that starts next.
Yeah. I mean, but last night I was definitely considering it, but I finished within 15 of my opponent, so I was like, okay, all right, but like if it was like this one, I would not have fought through kind of those multiple wipes.
Nope. All right. Well, it's been a great morning, everybody. It's been fun. Thank you for dealing with all of our breakfast puns and jokes. And again, thank you to Antidale for the names to help us set up all of our breakfast puns and jokes.
Yep. And Kemps will be in here shortly, we're being told. So yeah, they're explaining in the chat kind of how things get more difficult. Oh no, he's going to bed. All right, that's fair. More than fair. But yeah, next week, only 7 distinct characters and no duplicates. So you can end up with the classic Dark Knight Cecil Rydia start with Dark Knight on Hobbs and Rydia in the Baron Inn, and just like, well, guess this is my life now.
Yep, and you're just gonna cry your way through it.
Yep. Well, you wish you could cry your way through it, but you don't even have Porum to do it.
All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. I know it's an early morning seed, and I'm glad we had such a good crowd joining us. Looks like we're gonna be raiding Couch 23, who I believe is doing a vanilla Final Fantasy IV run at the moment.